No, I'm totally joking. Those are the things that I have to say I'm joking. Or students think I'm serious, and then they're like, oh crap, that's what'll happen, Katie. Absolutely. So notice how this says get out whatever homework you need to work on. All of today, the whole class period, until extensions, is us getting homework done and like checking answers and doing problems together. So a lot of the closure we did during the review game. So our closure, right? I think we had this question during our review game about the boxes stacked up in the room. Like, guys, all of these questions were in the game. It just depends whether or not we looked at them, like whether or not you guys chose them. Missing probability. Guys, I will tell you, we need one fraction for this missing probability. Actually, everyone look at 145 right now. I'll help you out. Everyone look at 145 right now. Because I know this one's a tough one. Let's just talk about it together. And then we'll circle back to the question you asked about, Katie. Pull out the closure. I want to clarify that I'm not asking you to draw 100 objects. I'm not asking you to draw a picture with 100 objects. That would be weird. And like cruel and unusual. And there's an old story about Albert Einstein that he was such an annoying student. Speaking of cruel and unusual, while you get your papers out, that his teacher got really frustrated with him. And one day said, you know what, Albie? Because apparently Albert Einstein went by Albie when he was a child. This is all like speculation. They go, you know what, Albie? I need you to go sit in the back of the room and add up all the numbers from 1 to 100. She's like, this will keep him busy for a while. He comes back not even a minute later and says, okay, here's the answer. So, random side challenge for you. If you can figure out how Albie added up the numbers from 1 to 100 so quickly, I'll give you a lifesaver or something. It's just a fun little story. Not right now, because we got to do this right now. Fraction, decimal, percent, conversion, we've been doing a lot of. But the words or pictures, this is not difficult. We just have to think it through. I don't want you to draw 40 out of 100. Even though when we turn 40% into a fraction, we could start with 40 out of 100. What can we do to this fraction, anyone? 4/10. Reduce it, right? So it can become 4/10. Ooh, but it can keep getting simpler. Yeah, we can divide by 2 on top and bottom, and this actually becomes 2/5. So guys, just make like 5 things and shade 2 of them. Yeah, but we shouldn't use decimals in fractions. That is called a complex fraction. And I don't know about you, but I don't like anything that says complex. Or maybe like complex carbohydrates, maybe. I don't even know what those are.
I know.
Yeah?
Are you afraid of anything?
Me?
Yes.
Snakes. No, not really. I mean, yeah, bugs, bees. Like, bees are really important. But bees, wasps, things that sting. Yo, give me your eyes. I gotta squash whatever the random question thing that's happening is now. 1/6 is tough. A lot of us mess this up, and especially when we're not allowed to use a calculator, which we often are. But 1/6 as a decimal is one of those weird repeating ones. No, it's 0.1 and then just 6s. It does not alternate 1/6. It is 1 and then 6s forever. Your calculator will look like there's a 7 at the end. That's a lie. So we can't technically put this over 100 because it's a repeating decimal. What's kind of like the trick for getting a decimal into a percent? So, actually, 0. We shouldn't use decimals in fractions. So we could write this over 100, but we shouldn't. Correct. Not correct. You were correct, and then you said the 7. That 7's a lie. So guys, as a percent, 16.6 repeating. she probably has the settings set to truncate and not round. Guys, like this is an interesting little vocab thing. So if you use a calculator that doesn't lie, it's set to truncate, which means cut the number off, not round. It depends. If you don't want that last number to round, then yeah, it's a good thing. If you just want it to be what it is. It depends on what sort of math you're doing. So she probably did that for science, like because she doesn't want things to round. She wants it to be what it is. All right, and then we can just draw 6 of some. Guys, you can even make this easy and like draw a square and make. It's my pizza, right? This slice is mine. Actually, that's yours. I get the rest. And 0.375. Guys, I'm about to blow your mind if you don't know this. So yeah, the trick, this is not going to blow your mind. The trick says this becomes 37.5%. But we just said to put that into a fraction isn't quite right. Like it's not wrong, it's just not quite right. Is there anything I could do to get this decimal like over on the end of the number? Ooh, if I do times 10 on top and bottom. 375. Ooh, yeah. Well, I said on top and bottom. Now, wait. What can a number that ends in 5 and ends in 0 both divide by? 5. So do that. Somebody grab your calculator. What's 375 divided by 5? And I think we should know what 1,000 divided by 5 is. 75 over... Wait, can this keep reducing?
Yeah.
So do it. 75 divide by 5 again.
That's 15.
Sorry, did not mean to write 100.
It's 15.
15 over... What's 200 divided by 5?
I don't know.
40.
Yeah.
Can I divide by 5 again? Guys, this complicated decimal, complicated fraction, whatever you want to say, it sure looks complicated. It's actually only 3 over 8. This is the simplified form of this fraction. All right, so Katie had asked about what just to see the answers. Sweet. So if you got your 1.2.8 completed, let's check those answers. Hey, did anybody else notice that the problem involving muffins was on our mastery?
Yeah, I did.
And did anyone else notice that the area problems from the mastery were all from your homework this chapter?
Yeah.
So if you are a person that can make an inference, what might you infer about how I make my assessments, Chloe? Not even just future. Future and past. So like, especially at the end of a chapter, what I want to see if you're mastered on future stuff? Nah, I want to see if you're mastered on the past stuff. So for the quiz, we were still learning it, right? So I gave you a couple questions you hadn't seen yet, but you'd seen the topic, like how to do area. Everything you're gonna see tomorrow, you've already seen. The numbers might be a tiny bit different, but everything if you've done the practice, you should be able to do everything. So if anything on 128 is difficult, you should ask a question about it. Mallory. Keep checking your answers while I find this. I'm going to find it to pull over. The other thing you could be doing right now, if you don't need to check your homework, is work on any closure problems you don't have done yet, because that's the purpose of today. Okay. All right, there's 41, or 141. Hey, I'm going to remind you guys, because we're thinking about doing this for somebody that's not in this class, but I might as well make the reminder in all of my classes. My microphone's super fancy these days, because I borrowed it from Mr. Estes. It picks up you guys when I'm not talking. So if your classroom behavior is getting to a point where like we're really frustrated with it, it's real easy for us to just email the video to your parents and say, yeah, just take a watch. Take a listen, right? Your child's making animal noises in the middle of math class. It's not appropriate, right? So just a general reminder, let's make sure that we have classroom appropriate behavior. So on 137, we had the question about the last three of these. This all goes back to one rule. Do anything, right? Because what's 137 ask you to do? It says rewrite each fraction in at least two different ways. I can do anything I want, as long as I do it to each piece, right? So when we yesterday said like times 2, what was I bugging you about? Times 2 over 2. So a fraction here could be 22 over 24. Or if we did times 3, we could have 33 over 36. If we did times 4 over 4, we might have 44 over 48. Guys, there's literally infinitely other, like, we could make infinity other fractions. Yeah. Sorry, for which one?
For 139.
I gotta switch because I gotta copy that then. So wait, what did you ask?
So if I were to simplify to 6, would it be 2 and 1/6, or would it still be 1?
6. Oh, I bet you used 12 instead of 18. Guys, a bunch of us did this. I don't know why. She made 18 muffins. However, when we went to do the math in B, a lot of us did 12 divided by 36. It's 18 divided by 36, which actually gets a half, right? Everybody would get half of a muffin. Yeah, that makes a bit more sense, doesn't it? All right, yeah. Howard. 140. Sweet, keep them coming. Oh, this is awesome because I didn't give you the multiple choice. And if you decided to go look in your book or look at the homework help, guys, I modify your homeworks. Like, newsflash, I'm a pretty active teacher. I'm constantly changing my homeworks and my tests. I rewrite them every year. I didn't want you to have multiple choice. But if you go to homework help, it has the multiple choice. So the way we find a not probability, and I think I actually have it over here somewhere if I can find it. Oh, that's CC3. The way we find a not probability is just subtract away the probability of the thing happening. So, if you know that the probability of something happening is 75%, okay, 75.3, whatever, then the probability of it not happening is everything else. So I drew a little circle chart up here so we could look at it. If I had 75% like on or yes or it happening, subtract. Do 100 minus 75.3, and that will give you the percent remaining, which is 24.7. Guys, if you're sitting here doing nothing and all of your homework isn't ready to turn in, I don't understand your choices right now. Okay. Yeah. Which will give me a number. Give me a number. I need to know where to go. 141. Okay, I needed to know which direction to go. So, this triangle was in your mastery. This parallelogram was in your mastery. This trapezoid was in your mastery. So if you have your mini mastery still, which you should, or I might have it that I need to get back to you like right now. If you need to do revisions on your mini mastery, hey-o, here's the answers. Well, not all of them, but here's how to do it. Dang, I forgot to pass back Math 8 again.
You really don't like Math 8, apparently.
Apparently I don't
You
have
want
the
to
paper for that.
yell and pass it all back?
You might want this if I let you use homework on the test tomorrow. So I did not check it yet. You will need to turn that in again. Okay, does that make sense? Tomorrow. Like I just said, if I let you use it on the mastery, hint, pop, pop, nudge, nudge, potential, potential. I'm not done.
Oh no!
Macy,
Stop! Yay, got nothing.
Lucy. Now I'm done. If you didn't get something back, it means I haven't graded it yet, which probably means you turned it in today. Because I've been grading every morning. And if you think something is wrong in math, please come see me. I do make mistakes. So parallelogram is still confusing people. It works the same as a rectangle, just base times height. Trapezoid is the complicated one that we've seen so far. Trapezoid is the complicated one. Excuse me. Now, fun story. There's no area on this test.
Oh, yay!
I don't think. Was there yesterday? I don't think so, right? I don't think there's perimeter or area. I'd like, because I don't care to test you on those right now.
Is there any perimeter? Is there any perimeter?
Look, I'll run through the test again. Yeah, I'm not going to show it to you again, but I'll run through the test again. Number 1 is mean and median. Number 2, scale some axes. Right, break up the axis to put the numbers on it. Number 3, use the giant 1. Right, multiply by top and bottom. Number 4, use the giant 1. Yeah, I split it into 2 different problems. Number 5, it's literally called simple probability because then there's also compound probability. So number 5 is simple probability where there's not like a complicated process. Number 6, take the fractions from number 5 and rewrite them as decimal and percent. So fraction, decimal, percent. Number 7, unit rates. Right, taking something per something like we did with the last test. I forget what our unit rate was on the last test, but now it's copies and minutes. And then number 8 is add and subtract fractions. Add and subtract fractions. Mallory, what's up? On D? So this is the same one as what we had in our mastery. So if you're confused on this, you probably have mastery revisions to do. So this is going to be a double dip. Right? This is going to be homework and mastery revision. So guys, if anybody's progressing on the mastery, you probably want to write this down right now. And if you're not, just stop talking because you're being rude. In our parallelogram, I know we're not talking about this one, but the bottom and top are parallel, and the right and left are parallel, right? Everything is kind of parallel with its opposite. In a trapezoid, only the 2 bases are parallel. So to find your bases, you look for the 2 sides that are parallel to each other. So straight line, remember, parallel like train tracks, never going to hit. We add those and divide by 2. The reason we do that is we're actually chopping this up into a bunch of triangles and rearranging it, right? So it would be way complicated if we actually thought about everything that's happening. So we just do the math, right? So when we add up the bases and then divide by 2, it has repositioned stuff that all the triangles make a rectangle, and we can just do times height. So instead of base times height, we have to do a funky thing with the bases first, but it's still kind of base times height. It's just complicated base. Does that make sense? So it's really just remembering the formula, and like, I don't ask you to do it this week, right? This is like, it's not on the test. Not on this test. It'll be on a future test, but it is not on this test. Other homework questions. Other things that were difficult. Aiden, you're in this class, right? No, oh, Landon's in this class. Aiden's in the morning class. Sorry, I found Aiden's paper on the lockers, and I'm pretty sure you might want it for tomorrow. Yeah, so like that's perfect. So try to get the fraction simplified and then draw a picture of that. So like this one's 3/8, this one's 1/6. Huh? Yes, you just have to draw a picture of, because remember, these all represent the same number. So you only need one picture for each of them. Like, this is all we're doing today. So if you guys got questions, let's... Oh, okay, here's another one the morning class asked about. I don't care to do perimeter for you because I hope you can take a walk and add things up while you take a walk. But if we went to do area, like in 143, cough, cough, if you haven't done 143, nudge, nudge, you should look up at the board. I don't have it totally done for you, but when like we look at a complex shape, right, not just a rectangle or just a triangle, when we look at a complex shape, it's easier if we break it up. So, I broke it. Oh no, Mom's gonna be mad. So I broke it and I found out my one rectangle side is 9 by 11. That's easier to see because the 9 and the 11 are labeled. Easier. What's more difficult is that this isn't straight up given to us over here, and it's not even straight up given to us over here. We have to figure it out by doing the 9 and the 6, which give us the 15. So then that region is 15 times 18. Yes, but this one wasn't. But yes, those are. Yep. Yeah, I'm tricky like that, aren't I? You've already done those problems. I mean, using your resources, right? Guys, I know that most 12-year-olds don't love math. I do everything I can think of to try to make this a bit more enjoyable, or at least not as horrible. What? I said horrible. At least not as horrible. We would like to be durable. We want to be durable in math class, otherwise we'll get beat down. Daniel.
I love math.
Well, so do I, but we're not normal, right? Like, come on.
I'm not saying I hate math.
I'm not doing perimeter for you. You can take a walk. In 144, what would be a nice denominator? Mallory? The homework is just check. Oh, we didn't talk, well, we maybe didn't talk about this yet. Hey guys, well, what's your question really quick? About what? What? The page numbers to review or what? Because I'm not going to tell you specifics about the test. Page number. Hey, one more time. If you want to review for the test, here's your page numbers. Write them down if you want to. Page 13 has your mean, how to find an average. Page 19 has your median. Page 36 shows you how to scale axes. This is your best way to study, guys. Seriously, either do practice or read the math notes boxes. Those are really the only two ways to study. Page 48 goes through the giant one, right? How to use the giant one. Page 40, sorry, these are slightly out of order. Page 40 is your probability. And I didn't put a page number down for fraction, decimal, percent conversion, but there is a math notes box on that. In your actual book. So also in your ebook, but I think this is one of those times when actual book is going to be better. Guys, in your actual book, check it. Look up here real quick. I might blow your brain. And then you're going to be like, wait, why is he telling us this? Closure. Well, I guess you don't get to hear the secret.
Please excuse this interruption. Could I please have Cooper Florence, Maddie Richner, and Debbie Kipling to the office? Thank you.
Closure. Closure. Some weird random page. Your answers to your closure. Friends, all of the answers to tonight's homework is right back here. Because it's your test prep, right? It's trying to say, are you good with this chapter? So, pull out it's in your ebook too, but if you pull out your book, the answers to your homework are in there. It also, hold on, just sit down. It also, give me your eyes up here. If I look at this solution, guys, I need you to care, right? Like, I can't help you if you can't help yourself, right? So if I come and I check this answer, I'm like, oh no, I got it wrong. Like, don't sit and cry about it. Look at like, oh, I need help. It tells me where to go. Do I want to practice it some more? It tells me where to go. So if you realize that you don't know how to do something, MN, right here, tells you math notes box, right? The math notes box in 1.1.2. So use the closure answer key. If you want more practice problems on stuff, it tells you where to go. There you go. That's all I really got for you. So if we got more homework problems, let's do more homework problems. Hey, you can borrow books from right here. Did you still have any questions? Or is that going to help? Check answers. Right over there on the game shelf. What's that? Yeah, absolutely. Guys, there are no other problems you want me to do for you? You're crazy. Well, give me a number. Sorry, what problem number? 141. That's not it. There we go. Do you want am I guessing you want the trapezoid? So I can't do all of them. And these are also what's on your mastery, so you can come get help at extensions, but you just got to give me one to start. Trapezoid, okay. Because we got to pick and choose. We got to do one at a time. So, we should clear this thing. Guys, this is one of those math skills that is not a skill. I know. I'm like probably the weirdest math teacher you've had. That's fine. This is not a skill. This is, can I plug things in and use a calculator. So being bad at this doesn't mean anything about am I smart or not. Like, what? Literally, it's just you just haven't gotten used to it yet. When you get used to it, it'll all feel like it clicks. So, if I write it, you should write it. Because if you're struggling with this, you need to write what I write. You with me? So, area. The formula for a trapezoid is we add the bases together, divide those by 2. Base 1. It's just saying there are 2 different bases. So to answer your question more specifically, that's called a subscript. It doesn't do anything. It's like if I told you I was Micah Hudson Jr., I'm not. But like, it doesn't change who I am, but it's just like a little, like B1, B2, right? It's 2 different things. So one of the bases is quote-unquote B1. One of the bases is B2. We know they are our bases because they're parallel to each other. Notice how the other 2 sides, they're not parallel. They're not straight. So that's how we know what our bases are. So as I start to build this, I like to use my smaller number first. It doesn't really make it crappy. 25. Please don't write down that 20. That was a mistake. I need my 25 from my top. 44.67. Sorry, this should also, if I put a label down there, it should be B2. I want to take a moment to talk about what happens right there. Guys, if you type this in your calculator wrong, hey, I need everybody's ears. If you type this in your calculator wrong, you have no chance. I'm going to say that again. If you type this in wrong, even if you've done everything right, you have no chance. Your calculator is stupid. It cannot think for you. You have to think. So we need to make it do the addition first. The only way to do that is either actually do it first. Come on. Like literally do it first. Or put it in parentheses. Watch. If I just type 25 plus 44.67 divided by 2, that is wrong. You should be mad about this. Your calculator gives you the wrong answer. Daniel, say it. It's doing what I told it to do. Because it's dumb and it just does what I tell it to do. It's like your little brother when he doesn't think and you're like, hey, run over there. And I was that little brother. The only thing I didn't do was eat the poisonous mushrooms, right? Don't eat the poisonous mushrooms. So, guys, I can only make jokes if you can come back. So, the most critical thing here is your calculator and you thinking. So if we add up the numbers first and divide by 2, that gives me 34.835. I want to talk about what the heck is going on there, though. That 34.835, I don't know why people are talking at the same time as me. You're making my job harder, and that is frustrating. If I chopped up this shape, to rearrange it and put like the itty bitty part right here on top right there and grab all these pieces and bring them over here, and I force this to become a rectangle, my new rectangle has a base of 34.835. This is why we do this work is if I chop up my shape and rearrange it to make a rectangle, this is what the new base is. So now we have to multiply it by the height. And we always know the height because it's perpendicular. It's the straight up and down. It's the if I drop something, how high is it? So that height here is times 20. And when we do that multiplication, it gets us like 690 something. Chloe?
When you said, when you drop something, how high is it like
Could I please have
The-
Mallory Roland to the office?
The technical vocab word is altitude. The altitude is measuring from the bottom. So like here, bottom is where your shape is sitting, up to the top point. So like for triangles, this is the altitude, which we use as our height. Because, I mean, you know, if I stand here, my height. But if a plane was up in the air, there's not actually like a thing there, right? We're not measuring a thing. We're just measuring how high up is it. Whereas like my height is literally like a thing. How tall am I? Not how high up is that plane. Does that make sense? So altitude and height are kind of the same thing. What about it?
You're saying that there's like no thing, but like when there's a thing, it's a
So this distance, if I drop my pen, is different than if I throw my pen, right? So the drop height is what we want, the straight up and down. That's all you need to care about. Don't worry about the airplane. We still got 3 minutes. I don't know why people have backpacks on. No one ever said anything about packing up. Theoretical versus experimental. Remember, theoretical, we only thought. We only thought about it. Experimental, we did it. See, all because Mallory's packing up doesn't mean that you guys should be packing up. You still got 2 more minutes to work on homework problems. If you're not done with homework, I don't understand why you're just sitting there. Now, if you're totally done with homework, sure, take a break. Yeah, if you borrowed a calculator, please make sure it gets put back. Like now would be a good time to do that. Do not just take it to extensions with you. You need to come back and ask again because I need to start giving you a hard time about why don't you have your own. Which problem? 140 what? Yeah, so the ceiling is just over 9 feet high. How many boxes would we need to get to 9 feet? Alright, head on out to extensions, friends.